Hi, I'm Tashia.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Raven.
And we're the co-executive producers for the New Media Lab, welcoming you to Throwback Thursday, where we highlight episodes past.
This time, we're bringing back an old episode from spring 2020.
We hope you enjoy this special throwback.
Welcome to This Must Be Heard, a recurring podcast featuring discussions of Delaware County community colleges, events, achievements, and initiatives. Today is the first episode of a series of conversations with non-traditional students at DCCC. According to the Adult Education Quarterly Journal, a non-traditional student is someone typically aged 28 or older who has not entered directly from high school. Non-traditional students can be parents, grandparents, veterans, or anyone looking for a new start. Listen now as Nick Ruggiero chats with inspirational speaker and non-traditional student Freddy Shegog. Thank you for listening.
Alright everyone, my name is Nick Ruggiero and I'm sitting here with Freddy Shegog, aka the Hope Dealer, one of the most well-known students here at DCCC, and he's my first guest on our non-traditional student podcast. How you doing, Freddy?
Very blessed, grateful to be here.
Man, thank you so much for being here.
I don't know what else to say, just overjoyed.
Real quick, I just want to get a little background on you. So how old are you exactly?
I am 37.
All right, and your semester here at DCCC?
It is my last. I will graduate in May 2020. It'll be 3 years for me.
Okay, a little early congratulations for me.
Thank you.
And what are you studying? What degree are you going for?
Communications, liberal arts. I started with journalism, and life has changed, and it went into communications.
All right, and so for the people that don't know, give us a little background about your public speaking work, some of the awards that you won.
So I've been very blessed. Since being at DC3, I've won almost 10 scholarships.
10 scholarships.
My new phrase is God and grind.
I love it.
And having support. Background story is when I first came to school, it was my first year in recovery, and I was speaking at treatment facilities. And that turned into people telling me you have a gift. And through being at DC3 and the connections I made and the support they've given me, it's launched into the Message LLC. And now I travel and I speak at high schools and colleges on mental health and substance abuse.
All right, so you mentioned recovery, right? Mm-hmm. So now that we got some background, take me back a little bit before all this started. What was going on?
Everything that goes on in addiction. A lot of people ask me what the first thing I used. The real simple answer to that was I've had a problem since I was 8, my asthma inhaler. And then it turned into a life of just what goes along with addiction, alcohol, you name it. And then that landed me in a dumpster 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago?
Yes, and that going to get the psychological, the physical, and the mental health that I needed landed me in DC3 where my life completely blew up.
Right, okay, so, and that's what I was going to get at next. When do you think, did this moment happen, that look in the mirror moment? Did you have this one day where it's like, all right, this has to change, or did it gradually start to happen? Just tell me a little bit about that moment or those moments that were like, I need to change my life and something needs to give here.
I always tell this story, I'll never forget. I was in the basement of Living Green facility, treatment facility. And Brother Harold, I love him to death. He's a tech there. And I'm in the basement and I'm in treatment.
Right.
And I don't have any clothes this time. And this is like my 15th treatment. And I'm picking out clothes, and he looks at me and he says, Freddy, are you gonna pick out underwear? And I look at him, I said, who? And it had hit me. I'm in the basement of a treatment facility and I'm picking out underwear. The humility in that, of picking out underwear and going through the ones that aren't stained. Something hit me that, do you wanna go out and do this again, or are you ready to change?
Right.
And that was the moment that broke me.
Right, okay.
And since then, I ain't looked back.
And then, so you had this moment, this realization, like it's time to change. How did you hear about DCCC, or how did you come to the decision that school was the right answer and that DCCC would be good for you?
I'm a big believer that education can change your life, because I knew that whenever I go into the job market, whenever I go into an employer, because of my background, I have to come here different. And I understood that the resume, unfortunately, we live in a world where your resume matters. But I knew that I had the ability to stand out above my resume, but I had to have that too.
Right, okay.
So I knew what education could do. It wasn't even a question, just because I was blessed to be raised around people that are educated.
All right. So you decide to come back to school. So now you picked DCCC. This is where I'm going to land. So you came in and you had to take placement tests. And tell me a little bit that feeling of that first day back. Like, all right, I'm taking these placement tests. Because I know for me, I was really nervous. Like, all right, this is real. Like, I don't know. It gave me a lot of weird feelings. So tell me how that felt for you.
I'll never forget. I came to campus. I took my placement test. The scores came back, and they said I needed to do all remedial classes. It hurt my heart. I go home and tell my wife I'm crying. She was like, just go to the classes. That's how good it is to have support. I take remedial English. Jamie Kelly DiMaggio, I'll probably pronounce her name wrong, forgive me. But that class changed my life because she made us write a paper on identity, and she said, I'm not grading it on grammar, I'm grading it on content.
Okay.
And I wrote in there about digging through the dumpster. I wrote on there about my struggles with addiction. And she kept telling me, Freddie, there's life in this paper. Long story short, I ended up going to my first conference at St. Joe's Marginalized to Empower about addiction and mental health. And that paper ended up getting published in the Philadelphia Inquirer. And it taught me a lesson about never take any class for granted because you don't know what it can do for your life.
It's unbelievable. And that's what I wanted to say is I don't really believe in coincidences. So that feeling you had of like, oh man, remedial English, in some way it led you to so much more, and that just jump-started your entire career and this journey that you're on now. And that's why I don't believe in coincidences. I think it was meant to be. You're here, and then you took this class and the professor's name, was
Jamie Kelly DiMaggio.
Right.
That English class changed my life.
There you go. Imagine maybe if you go to one level higher, you might not have the same exact thing that happens. You know what I mean? So, that kind of leads me into my next question is, how did DCCC really help you? What's been instrumental about DCCC that has really helped you?
I've been blessed with the gift to be able to speak. I have raw talent, but I had to learn how to be professional. I had to learn how to write a workshop proposal. I had to learn the language and the diction that goes into education. I never knew what a feeder institution was. I never knew what funding was. I never knew about conferencing. I never knew how to speak. I never heard of elevator speeches. I never knew about being published. I never knew MLA or APA. I never knew about turning homework in and how important the tutoring center and the learning center is. It taught me how to maneuver in the field of education.
Right, it's more than just memorizing vocab and, taking tests or anything. These are it's teaching you a lot more than that. So it's been big in your process.
And another thing about school that I tell people, school is much bigger than just the books. DC3 taught me how to balance my life to where I can take the book knowledge that I'm learning and implement it in my real life.
Absolutely. I completely agree. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much would you say education is vital to the success of the individual?
In my opinion, I think there's two types of education. I think there's book and life. And I think when you mix them, it can completely change your life. I think education is, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think it's a 15.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Because there's just certain things that you need to know in this world and to be able to remove. It's the credit card to get you in certain doors.
Right. Okay. So, for guys like me and you who were out of school for a while, and there's a lot of people like that out there, is there any advice you would give to someone who's been out of school for an extended time that's thinking about coming back?
It's never how you start, it's how you finish. I believe that coming to school at a later age is actually a benefit because there's wisdom about life that you understand that you don't understand at 20. Meaning, if I would have had a business at 20 and I was traveling, I wouldn't have understood that when I'm in a hotel on a Friday night and everybody at the conference is going out to eat, that I can't go because I have homework to do. I wouldn't have got that because I would have been more worried about hanging out than doing my homework. But now I understand in order to have a business and in order to have the things I want, it's going to take struggle in the beginning to have the glory at the end.
Right. I think discipline is that key word, you know what I mean?
I didn't have discipline.
Right, and I didn't have it either. I never had it. And coming back, it really taught me discipline. Like, all right, I know what I need to do to get this done. I know where I'm going. I have goals. And, speaking of goals, what are, goals for you going further? You already got all this going on, but I know you want to get bigger. Just talking to you, in this short little sample we've had, I know you want to go further. So what do you got for us? What's next for Freddy Shegog, the Hope dealer?
My next goal is I'm trying to change the culture of institutions of health being wealth first. Meaning, I'm trying to change how we're educating students as far as them coming in and graduating. I don't want us to just educate folks based on quantity. I want us to graduate quality. I want students to leave school where not only did they get good grades, but mentally, physically, and spiritually, they're leaving a better human being. I don't want it to just be come in, pay the money, get your degree, and leave. No, let's let it change your life. Because I believe if you don't have the foundations of health first, everything else is going to leave.
You want the student to leave as prepared as they possibly
Yes.
can for the real world.
Yes.
Because we know it's real out there. I mean, the real world is quite literal when you say that. It's real out there. So tell us a little bit about your business. You know, we haven't really got too much into it, so I want to know, tell us all about your business real quick.
So I've been very blessed. I always said God owns it. He lets me run it.
I love it. I love it.
It is a motivational speaking company where I travel to high schools and colleges and institutions, and I speak on mental health and substance abuse. I've been very fortunate to do conferences. I did the Pennsylvania Black Conference on higher education. I was the first student to ever do a workshop there, and I was the first student to ever do a mental health workshop. At the end of this month, I will be speaking at Bridgeton Public School District. I'll be doing my first assembly there for grades 3 through 8. In Missouri in May, I will be speaking at Missouri State University, where I will be a keynote at the Mental Health Impact Summit. There's other speaking engagements in the works as we speak, and I will be the mental health and keynote speakers at these universities, where I'm dealing with collegiate recovery and teaching other professionals the importance of making sure that the kids in recovery are getting what they need.
Did you ever think that it would come to this, man? Did you ever think you'd be traveling around the world, telling people your story and inspiring them to be better? Like you said, you're going to be talking to grades 3 and 8. Is that the youngest crowd that you've spoken to at that point? Or?
Yes.
And what do you think that you would tell those kids? Because it might be, it has to be a tiny bit different, I would assume, right?
It's completely different. It's uncomfortable, and that's why I'm doing it.
Right.
Because I believe it starts young, because I know at 8, I was abusing my asthma inhaler. So the earlier I can get to them, the better.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to it. I'm researching, and it will be different, but different is good because it will make me well-rounded.
Different is great. I always say, to really get better and for self-growth, you got to go into the unknown. I mean, you've clearly done that, and look at you, man. You're just absolutely killing it. Is there anything you'd like to tell people out there listening to check out of yours? Any websites, any social media that you'd like to let us know that we got to get on and just really start paying attention?
Yes. So you had asked me, did I ever think this was going to happen? When I enrolled at DC3, I just enrolled here literally to see what college was about. I had no plan of even getting a scholarship. I didn't even think that was possible. No, I had no idea that this would happen. I'm grateful it happened, and now that it has, I'm running with it. What I would ask people to check out is www.themessagellc.com, or you can just Google that, and you will see the work I've been blessed to do. And not only that, please check out ARHE, which is Collegiate Recovery.
Okay.
And it will explain on there exactly the work that I do.
Is there anything, a couple last words, is there anyone you want to thank? Is there anything you want to leave us with? The floor is yours, man.
So, thank you. I told my wife last night, I said, I feel like I should take my degree and cut it into quarters, because I feel like I'm the true story of it takes a village to raise a child. Everybody has played such a vital role into why I'm successful. I always say people see me speak, but they don't see the support behind me that allows me to do what I'm doing. I just want everybody to know, I don't care where you started. I don't care what's going on. If you got drive and you got the right support around you, look out. Because there's nothing you can't do. DC3, you can come in this building and you can get it done. There's nothing you can't do. I just believe in everybody.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I mean, I can see why they call you the hope dealer. I'm feeling just motivated and ready to go out and get it right now, right after this. So, I mean, I just want to thank you, Freddy. Thank you so much for being here once again. And, I want to thank David Moskowitz right here, my executive producer, for putting us together, for getting us in the same room. And, of course, our faculty advisor, Miss Maria Boyd. And, I'm very grateful for everyone here at DCC as well. It just means a lot to me, and this is why I'd like to start this podcast, man. Thank you so much for being my first guest, and I wish you the best of luck. I'll be tuning in, man. I'll make sure I'm paying attention.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm absolutely blessed and overjoyed, and being here has been just a humbling event, and I love what you guys are doing.
Man, we appreciate it. Thank you so much, Freddie. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of the semester. We'll be talking to you soon.
You've been listening to This Must Be Heard, brought to you by the New Media Lab and Campus Life. Today's host was Nick Ruggiero. Our guest today was Freddy Shegog. David Moskowitz executive produced and edited this episode. Victoria Callbreath and Samuel Larson designed our cover art. Alyssa Tino is our writer, and I am Hirish Davis. JD DeMarco and I were your announcers for this episode. If you have an interest in participating in the New Media Lab, visit the Campus Life office or contact our faculty advisor, Professor Maria Boyd, for more information. Thanks again for listening.